This is Red Walters' new race bike for the 2024 season. Red is a professional cyclist for continental team X-Speed United, who are very lucky to be sponsored by Factor Bikes. Red is all about speed, so he's chosen the AERO Factor frame, which is the OSTRO VAM. This is actually the model from last year, so it's not the model they've taken out, they've released in the last few months at the Tour Down Under. With pedals, wahoo and 2 empty bottles, the bike comes in at just under 8.3 kilograms, which I think is pretty good for an aerodynamic bike with deep section wheels. It's in this very nice blue chameleon paint job with some holographic decals on there. It is a 54, which is the same frame size that I ride, even though Red's a few centimetres taller than me, just because he likes it super slammed at the front so we can get as aero as possible. Getting as aero as possible, Red has gone for a pretty crazy looking integrated bar and stem system that is Factor's own brand, Black Ink. It is a 140mm long stem with 36 centimetre wide handlebars, and this is just to get Red into the most aerodynamic position possible. The bars flare out to 38-39 centimetres at the drops, so it's got a really nice stable position for when he sprints and a nice aero position up in the hoods when he's not sprinting. One of the first things you'll notice is the wacky looking saddle that he's got on the top of his seat post over there. That's about 5 metres behind the middle of his bottom bracket. These ISM saddles have been in the scene for a few years now, with the likes of Phil Guyman and others really raving about them. They look a bit weird, but for the people that they work for, it's well worth it. They can get the hips rotated forwards a lot more, get themselves into a lot faster position on the bike by getting them down lower, and a lot more comfier as well. Red is personally sponsored by Saddleback and Envy, which means he's running these Envy SES 6.7 wheel set. His rear wheel is 67mm deep with his front one 60mm deep. So it's a little bit more stable in crosswinds and a little bit easier to handle, but you still get that depth for the aerodynamics at the back and still at the front as well. They're still pretty aero wheel. Red's team is sponsored by Schwalbe, and he's got them matched up perfectly with the wheels here. The width of the tyre is exactly the same as the width at the widest point of the rim, so they're as aerodynamic as you could possibly get there. Probably the fastest wheel setup that you can run the whole year, really. Red is a rider that swears by tubeless on his road bike. He's been running it since 2019, so 5 years now. Red chooses to run tubeless to minimise the risks of punctures in races. When you spend months and months preparing for something like Red does, you don't want that to be wiped out by getting a pinch flat or running over a pin or something in the last few kilometres of a race. Which I think is fair enough. Red is running the latest generation of 105 with the 12-speed Di2 group set. It's got the 1134 cassette on the back there, so quite a big range, plenty of big gears for the climbing, and 5236 at the front here. Red runs Shimano cleats and pedals, and he's got some very nice Dura-Race pedals on here that weigh nothing basically. With Red being a professional racing cyclist, the only thing he cares about on a bike really is the speed and it being comfortable enough that he can put out the power that allows him to go fast enough. So the whole bike is set up to be as fast as possible. I'm a massive fan of this bike and I'm really excited to see Red get racing on it this year and hopefully get a few more wins under his belt.